everyone and welcome to Cake Craft with Janette. This is episode 2. In episode 1, you might have seen, we made this cute little mousey on his little apple. And so for today's demo, we're going to do something different, and it's all about the details. So today we are going to, here we are, we're going to make this gorgeous little fairy house. See all the little details? Windows, mushrooms, stones, moss, little feathers, the little door, chimney, loads of details. So I'm going to show you how to do quite a lot of all these wee bits. Quite a lot to get through, so we better get started. So we'll pop that down there, and I shall just move my camera so we can get started. So excuse the dodgy camera angle. Not easy this is my kitchen we're filming from today. There we are. You can see it a bit better there as well. Okay, so that's what we're going to be looking at today. So I'm going to do all the details on that for you. So I've already started this part, okay? And I'm going to just, so we have enough time to do all the details. So I made this out of Rice Krispie treats, so it's nice and solid. So it would be great as a big cake topper. If you want to make it from cake, you can do that. You just size it up a little bit or just do a little cake. That would be absolutely fine. Just remember to put in a cake card and some support dowels if you're going to do it out of cake, okay? So I basically made a mound out of Rice Krispies, for want of a better word. And at the top, I made it like a little kind of wood rings, you know what I mean, like wood tree stump rings. So I put a little bit on the top there to cover that first, and then I wrapped the cake in a little sheet of sugar paste and just made it like little kind of rough texture at the top, okay? So to make the detail on this, these are the tools that I'll be using today. I got asked about them loads in the last episode. These are Cake Duchess tools, okay? They're like they're really heavy, weighty tools. They're aluminium. I find them really good for sculpting. So if you're wondering what I'm using, that's what they are, Cake Duchess tools, okay? This one is sort of like a Dresden tool, so there's like a rounded end, you can see that, and then a sort of slightly pointier end, so it's a bit like a Dresden. So I just used the sharp end and I made some deep indentations from the top and then used it up and down the way, making loads and loads of texture, just like you would a normal tree stump cake, okay? Now there's loads of tutorials out there for that, so you won't be stuck if you need to find a bit more information on that. The other thing I did was I used one of these, not the one I use for my dishes. This is specifically for cake decorating. Make sure you don't use the one that you've been scrubbing your pots and pans with. So because this is Rice Krispie treats, it's actually really solid, so I could actually scrape up and down this, which gives some really lovely texture. I'll show you the back here. Really lovely, okay? But if you're using cake, you might need to watch that you're not going to damage your cake doing that, but you can still press it in a little bit and it'll give you some texture that way, okay? So that's where we are at this stage. So the first thing we need to do is finish off the kind of main structure of the little fairy house. Now, the best thing about fairy houses is anything goes, okay? So it doesn't matter where you put in chimneys or doors or steps or anything like that, just put it wherever you like. Anything goes. It's all natural, all not too even, perfect for me who's a bit messy, okay? Anyone else a bit messy? I'm sure you are, not just me, hopefully. So the first thing we'll do is add this wee chimney, and to do that I'm just going to take a little cocktail stick and I'm going to pop it in the side here, just so it still sticks out a little bit. And I'm going to take some modelling paste. This is Cake Duchess modelling paste. Just give it a little mix. And I'm going to roll it into a little sausage shape. It's actually quite good if you don't roll it too evenly. If you let it roll between your fingers, you get kind of an uneven finish to it, which is what we want for this. So you can see we're going to get a nice little chimney shape out of this. And we'll pop that on here. Don't worry about the join just yet, okay? Now this one's got quite a nice little kink to it, a little L shape, so we're going to do the same here. So just make it a little bit longer than your cocktail stick protrudes and just give it a little kink up, a little bend upwards. If you need it to stick a little bit better, just use a little bit of water to help stick. But we're going to put some more paste around this, which will help, but that'll help hold it in place for just now. So next I'm going to take one of these tools. This is, it's like a flat ball tool, this one that I'm going to use. And I'm just going to press down in the end here to give us a nice sort of chimney effect there. There we are. And then I'm going to grab my Dresden tool again, and I'm just going to add in a little bit more detail. So just a few little notches, a few little lines. Maybe bring a little notch down from the top. Okay, so just a little bit more detail all the way around. You can also just press the paste into the tree stump a little bit to help bond it above and below, maybe that would do. There we are. Okay, so now it's got a little chimney. So I'm just going to add a little bit more paste. This is still modelling paste. I'm going to use modelling paste for all the details, which I'll show you in a wee minute. So I'm just rolling out a sort of long sausage teardrop kind of shape. And I'm going to hook it underneath and bring it round. If I turn that around, you'll see it's like just like a ring round it. And I'm just going to blend that in a little bit. There we are. So again, you could be using a sort of Dresden type tool to do this, just whatever you normally use. There we are. Just make sure it's all nice and attached and it's not going to fall off or swing round. I sometimes find with these things that the chimney bit wants to swing round, so with the weight of it. So just make sure it's nice and secure. You can always add a little bit of water again if need be, which I'm going to do. Just round this piece here, there we are. And then again, just add a few more details, maybe extra lines. Do a few at the back here. And you don't really need to worry about being too neat or too finished off, because when you paint it, the paint really picks up all these little bits and actually really helps give it sort of really nice characteristics, I would say. Okay, so don't worry too much about all this being perfect or anything like that. It's just enough to give it a bit of a texture. There we are. Just open up that chimney. I've squished it. There we are. That's it. Okay, so now we've got our wee chimney on. And the next thing I'm going to do is paint it. So I'm going to paint the whole trunk before we put all the other details on. When I did this first, I actually painted the whole thing in one. So I did everything white and then I painted it. But I think you guys might find it easier painting this first and then adding all the details. So that's what we'll do today. So to paint it, I'm using dusts, a whole variety of different types of dust mixed with vodka. So I've got a little palette here I've already been dusting today. So some dusts, and I've got a little egg cup of vodka, and that's what I'm using. So I'm just going to mix them together. So I'm going to use a wide flat paintbrush. Can you see that? Yeah, there we are. And I'm going to get some vodka, and I'm going to use some dark brown paste, dark brown dust. There we are, mixed together. And we're just going to start going up and down the trunk like this. Now don't panic that it's dark, because we're going to use some vodka and thin it out and lift some off. And you want it to be quite patchy looking, because we're going to add some other tones in as well. Okay, so you carry on and cover the whole tree stump in this dark brown, and then we can lift some areas off. So you can either do that by just using some vodka and thinning it out so that it's then just the deepest texture that has the dark colour still in it, or you can also use a piece of kitchen roll and just gently dab it on, and it lifts some off, okay? And that gives you a really nice texture there too. So we need to now cover the whole tree stump like that. You guys are going to have a little break. So in about 60 seconds we'll come back and I'll have a little bit more of this painted, hopefully. So I'll see you in a minute. Bye. Welcome back to part 2 of Cake Craft with Janette, and we are making this little fairy tree house. Fairy tree house? Fairy house tree. Not sure, whichever way round. So I'm just going to put the camera back down so you can see where we were. We were painting with the dark brown. There we are, can we all see that? Not too bad. I think that's okay. So we were painting with the dark brown, so just continued that all the way round. So you can see it's now picked up some nice light and dark areas, and remember you can remove some areas with your kitchen roll as well. So it's picking up all the lovely detail that you have on there. So the next thing we're going to do is the little inside top part, which is the inside of the log, okay? So we're going to use a yellow dust with a little bit of vodka. Let me find my yellow dust. I'm using a mix of dusts of all different types. I've got, what have I got? I've got rainbow dust, magic colours, Roxy Witch, all sorts of things here. So just use what you are happy with. So this is an egg yellow I'm going to use. So a little bit of vodka and a little bit of dust. You want it quite watery. I always work quite watery so that we get into the detail. Let's see if I can lift this so you can see what I'm doing here. Yeah, just a no more. There we go. So I'm just painting in the top with the yellow dust. Make sure you've got plenty of vodka so you can go around like it's almost like a wash. Think about it like working with watercolours. I was saying that in my last demo as well. It's just think about it as if it's like really watery washes like watercolour, okay? So we've got a little bit of the yellow on there. And we'll do the same as we did before and just lift a little out. That gives some nice highlights and leave some of the colours in the deeper parts of the print, okay? So now that we've done that, we're going to use the yellow that we have and we're going to add some more colour to the tree stump itself. So I'm just mixing up some more, okay? And we're just going to start dabbing around some areas. And it just gives it a little lift and a little variation so it's not all completely the same, because a tree isn't just brown, it's lots and lots of colours mixed together, okay? So you can see it's beginning to pick out a wee bit more of depth there. And if you think you've done too much, like I maybe have there, you just take a little bit of vodka and brush it all in. And you can always take a little bit of your brown again and blend it back in again. But don't worry too much, it's actually better if it's all kind of blotchy and uneven, because it really gives it a much more natural sort of look, okay? So I'll just do a couple more areas. I'm going to add a little bit more brown in at the top, which will just help give it a little bit of a lift as well. Just right round the edges where it meets the bark. There. Okay, and a little bit more yellow around the tree. Just dabbing it on. There we are. Looking good. There we are, okay? So now we're going to put the tree stump to one side and we're going to work on all the details. So I shall just pick this up and we'll slide it away. Let's slide it out of the way, that'll be easier. Oh, if you want to see my table today, I've got so many things out, goodness me. Trying to hide them all. Right, keep it near you though so that you can reference it if you're wanting to check sizes of all the details that you're going to put on now, okay? So when you're doing the details, what you're actually trying to do is build up a library. I'll just reach for this. A library of loads of details, okay? So we've got things like pebbles, little windows, these are rocks or steps for the treehouse, logs, branches, smaller branches, these are little fungi, acorns, the door. You're trying to build up a big library of everything so that once you've got a big selection, like a big pick and mix, then you can just pick and mix what you want to put on your cake and work it all out once you've got these made, and they're easier to handle once they've dried, okay? So I'm going to show you how to make all these different things. So I'm just going to take one of each down so I remember to show you them all. So we'll take a little set there. We need to do the door and an acorn. Right, we'll pop this back out of the way. Nice view of my armpits there, sorry about that. Okay, so we will make, these are actually pretty cool. Let's make the pebbles or the stones for the front of the house, okay? I've got a really quick way of doing these, so I'm going to show you that. So I'm using modelling paste throughout. This is Cake Duchess modelling paste. Just give it a little knead. There we are. Okay. I'm going to take a little lump, roll it into a ball. Okay. And then if you're very careful and watch your fingers, I use a little kitchen knife. This is just a wee knife that I like using. It's my favourite wee knife, but you have your favourites, no doubt, I'm sure. Okay, so just a little knife and just gently tip-tap all the way along. Watch your fingers. No chopped off fingers, please. Okay, make some of them deeper than others and some of them slightly different angle right the way across. Okay, so if that's the side that you've already done, then I want you to move it to this side and do the same again. And then the other side. So you should have three sides with this. It's beginning to become like a rectangle kind of cuboid thing. Put it up an end and press. And that pushes all the lines down really close together. And it looks like rock. And even pressing down with your fingers on the tops gives it a little shape, like a step. And then the last thing I do, my fantastic tool, I just give it a little press on the top and it'll pick up some of the area on the top but not the whole lot. And it'll just give it a little bit more texture. And if you want, you can take a dressing tool and you can add some little indentations or maybe use the sharper end and bring a little bit in so you've got a little cut to it. Okay? And that's how you make these. Easy peasy. And they're brilliant because they pick up all the paint and you can see all the texture. So you need to make a few of those. I've made 3, however many you want to make. So that's those. For the acorn, this is quite easy too. I'm going to do the hat first, the top bit. Sorry, I call it the hat, whatever it's actually called, but the hat of the acorn. I'm going to roll a little ball. It's a bit much. We're going to roll a little ball. And then another kitchen tool, sieve, drop the ball in. I'm going to use my ball tool and I'm just going to press down. I'll do it out with the sieve so you can see, but I'm just pressing down into the ball, okay? But when I push down in the sieve, it picks up a little texture and then I kind of roll it. You see that? Roll it as well. And what that's done, if you can see hopefully, not sure if you'll be able to see that close actually, is it's picked up some of the texture. You'll see when we paint it, you'll see what it's done, but it's picked up all the little crisscross texture from the sieve, okay? And then I just make a wee indent in the top with my smaller ball tool, take a tiny ball of paste, a little bit of water if you need it, and I pop that in like a little hat, okay? So you can do some of those just like that, oops, just like that, and leave them. So there's just the little hats, you might want them, like I've used one here on the chimney top, or we can add the bottom part. So I'll just grab some paste and we'll do that. So you just roll another little ball and try and make it a little bit pointed at one end, a bit more of a teardrop shape, a little bit of water on the inside of the cap, and just pop it in, and I kind of press it up with my finger a little bit, just to join it up nicely. Okay, so really simple, really quick, so you can make a heap of those, and that's another whole load of decorations for your cake, okay? So just set them to one side so you can make as many as you like of those again. Pebbles are really easy. I'm sure everybody knows how to make a pebble, but we'll just do it just in case there's any beginners watching. Hopefully there is. If you have any questions, by the way, just pop them in the comments and I'll be answering your questions as best I can, okay? So for a pebble, just roll it in your hand, and I try not to think about it too much, just give it a little few presses without thinking about it, and if I think about too much I make it too regular, and you just get a little misshapen lump, and again, fantastic tool this is. A little bit of texture, pebble, make loads of them. They're great for filling in little areas all round, okay? So that's a little pebble. We've done an acorn. What else do we have? Let's do a branch. Okay, so I do these different sizes, so you'll see, look, I've got a big log. I put one out here so it looks like somebody's maybe been sitting there. And I do little ones as well, all different sizes, because they come in so useful on this whole thing, all around the doors and the windows and everything. So just have a good big variety of them. And then you can just pick and choose the ones that fit. Okay, and any spare you just keep for another one. Because you use branches, well I use branches on a lot. So when I'm rolling for branches, I'm not keeping my fingers nice and flat and making a super smooth sausage. I'm actually separating my fingers so you get kind of a lumpy kind of texture, which is what you want. And then I'm just going to run the sharper end of my Dresden, or Ep.2 tool, along here to give it a little bit of texture. You don't need much, just a little bit is just enough to give the impression of wood. You can use the other end. This is kind of like flat on one side and curved on the other. So use the flat side towards the wood, and you can just push down. You see that? When you kind of can make little knots and things. Okay. So that's how I do those. And then I just trim the ends off as I see fit. And if you want, you can always just put a little bit of an impression in at the end as well. Just to kind of finish off a bit. It looks a bit nicer than just a flat cut surface. There. So super quick. Make loads and loads of those, and they're useful again. And you can make them different shapes. You can make them slightly bent, or, you know, just give them a little kink to them. A bit like treehouse, it's not all going to be exactly straight and even, okay? You need to loosen things up a bit. Okay, so we've done that. These are, can you see these little fungi around the side? Yes, you can. These tiny little fungi all the way up the tree. These are super easy as well, but they're so effective. I love them. They're one of my favourite things on this. So these are a tiny ball of paste. I'll just show you. I'm not sure if you'll see this up close, hopefully. Yes, you can. That's all they are. So I think you're probably guessing what I do already, but anyway. Small piece of paste. Flatten at one side. And I use one of these. The shell tool, or I don't know what it's actually called. I call it a shell tool because it makes shells. Or a fungi. Let's call it a fungi tool today. So I'm just going to press down on that thinner edge. And when you peel up, it actually gives it a nice little curve as well. Okay? You can see. So make loads of those, and that is what these are. And then we can attach them to the cake. I trim them later, and I'll show you how we do that, and we add them to the cake. Okay, so next it would be windows and doors. So that's what I'll show you next. We'll just have another quick break, and when you come back for part 3, already? Wow, part 3, I'll show you the doors and the windows, and we'll start adding some detail on. Hi everyone, welcome back to part 3 of Cake Craft with Janette. Sign's still here from last week. So we have painted our tree stump. We have made lots of things for our little pick and mix variety of parts for adding to our tree stump. So now I'm going to quickly show you how to make a door and a window, and then we need to start getting these things on the cake. Okay, so I'm going to move you down again. Extreme close up, sorry about this. I have a fancy new stand on order and I can't wait. Right, there we are. I think we should be able to see everything there, hopefully. All good? Yes? Right. So we are going to make a little door. Now you can make the doors any shape you like. Round one here, little normal kind of door shape, whatever you like. It doesn't really matter, just something fun. So it's really just like a wood texture again. So using I've rolled out a bit of paste. Again, it's modelling paste. Using the sharp end of your resin, just making lots and lots of lines to give a little bit of a wood grain kind of texture. Lots and lots and lots and lots and lots. And then once you have lots and lots and lots and lots, just do a couple across the way as well. It always looks better when you have just a couple across the way rather than all the same way. Then start putting some deeper ones in. If you need to use a ruler to help you do that, then do so. I just do it freehand. Just a few different ones in to make it look like planks. All the way across. Don't worry if it splits. Mine split there a bit, but don't worry about it. That's okay, it'll all come good. So you can make whatever shape you like. This is the one I'm going to use on our cake today because it's nice and dry, or dry-ish. But if you wanted to make a round one, you basically just cut with a round cutter. That's probably the easier one to show you just now. Okay, so if you lift that up, you'll see, here we are. Okay, and you can just leave that to dry with all your other bits and bobs that you've been making. A window, this is the window here. Let me just move stuff so you can see. There we are. So a little window, just take a rolled out piece of paste, roll a very thin sausage, and that, put one across the way, make a little indentation in the middle for another one, across the other way. That's if you want to make them like this. You could make them any way you like. You can make them without these if you want. Okay, so there we are. And then we just use a smaller cutter, whatever size you want for the window, and just cut over the top. And that gives you your little window. Okay, now let's put that to one side. So you make as many of those as you want. Again, you can make a few of those. I make a few different sized ones. Just because then it makes sure that everything's going to fit, you know, so a couple different sizes of these. Okay, you can make square windows, round windows. We're sounding like play school. Same with the doors, whatever shape you like. Okay, so now that we've done that, we need to start getting a few things onto our cake. So let me move these out of the way. This is the one we're going to use. Oh, I don't have enough room today. Right, there we are. Let's use the elbows. So we'll bring this back in. So the first thing I do is figure out where my door is going to go, and then I can work out everything else. So if this is the front, I'll try and do it front to you. I'm upside down, but we'll see how we get on. So I'm going to lift the door up a little bit so we can do some cute steps like this. So a little bit of water on the back of my door. Now I'm not painting it before I put it on. You can if you wish. And the other thing you can do is you can use coloured sugar paste as you go if you want instead of painting. There's nothing to stop you doing that. You're welcome to do that as well. So you would use like light brown sugar paste or dark brown sugar paste for your covering your tree stump with, you know, and work on from there. And if you wanted a blue door, just use blue paste, you know. There's nothing to say you have to paint it. You can just do this with coloured sugar paste all the way. Okay, so there we have our door on. Now what we'll do is I lined it with some branches, this one, so that's what we'll do. So I'll just grab some from my little library, pop them down here. It's great having these all done and all dried. So if you do them the day before, Etty's paste is really good actually. It dries fairly quickly to touch. So, and if there's a little bit of bend in it still, that's quite useful actually. But you can do them the day before if you want. Okay, so we need to find something that's going to go along the bottom. Let me see. Something like that would be quite good. So a little bit of water on there. And we'll attach it on to the bottom of the door. There we are. And maybe a couple up the side. And then we can work an arch in across. We'll just add these in. There we are. This is most odd doing it upside down. I hope this looks okay from your way. Give me some thumbs up if it looks okay. I hope so. Another one at this side. Now you can cross these over as much as you like and you can layer them up and all sorts. So we'll just do a few so you get the idea of how to do it today. And then find a few smaller ones maybe for across the top. We can maybe do these at an angle like that. You notice on this one, I crisscrossed them at the top and kind of interwove them. Interwove? Interlocked. Wove? You know what I mean. I'm sure you do. There we are. Okay, and then another one. Let's see what we've got. Oh, this is quite a fancy one. It's quite nice to use these ones with a little embellishment, shall we say. That looks good. We'll pop that one on. And there we go. Oops. Where are you going? Let's pop that back on. Okay. If you find the water doesn't stick, a little bit of glue. A little bit of edible glue. I'll just add that really important word in there before you go and get your Pritt sticks. Edible glue. Okay, so you can build that up as much as you like. But I think that's okay for just now, you get the idea. So you can build a few more up if you wish, just layering them up. Okay, so that's your door frame made. So now we'll put the wee window on. So I'm going to reach for my windows, which are very far away. There we are. Okay, so we've got a few windows here. So let's work out. I think we'll do a little window. We'll do it up here. That'd be quite cute, wouldn't it? Let's do it up there. Yeah, let's do it up there. And I can do it like this window here, and I'll show you how I did the little roof part to it. So if you want to put that window on there with a little extra roof, you just need to create like a little wedge behind it. So I'm just going to wet this area to make sure it sticks okay. Okay, so I'm just rolling a ball and I'm going to flatten it at one end. Now this needs to be smaller than the window, which it is, thankfully. Should have checked that first. And just press that on where you want the window to go. So I think about there, eh guys? I think that looks about right. I think so. Okay. And then a little bit on the back of the window. And pop that on there. I'm just going to turn this around to give myself a wee chance to see. Yeah. That's fine. Okay. So just pop that on there like that. Perfect. Okay. So now we're going to put a little windowsill in underneath. Let's see what we have. Remember, if anything's too long, you can just trim them, which I think I will do this time. So let's take decisions. I'm going to take this one, this little one. We'll add that in underneath. And it's just the same as the door. You just build up a few round it. Or, actually, the other thing I did was I just marked in to make it the side, if you can see there. So this wedge shape here, I actually, on the other one, just marked in a few marks to make it look like it was part of the tree rather than an extra piece or a hidden piece. So we'll just do that. There we go. And then add in a very thin piece, I think we'll do that. So just take your time, but no, obviously I'm going like the clappers, as we would say in Scotland, whatever that means, going very fast to let you see what to do and just give you an idea what to do, but you guys can take your time and do this all nice and neat, okay? So we're beginning to build that up there now, yeah? And to do the roof then, if I pop these out of the way, all the roof is, this part here, it looks kind of like a, I suppose like a cone maybe, yeah? Part of a cone. So all I did for that was roll teardrop shapes. So little teardrop shapes, like this. And then I'm using the rounded end of my Dresden tool just to make a little mark in the middle there. And that's all it was. And then I just stick these round the roof in a few layers, okay? So I'll do a little layer just now to let you see. Let it overhang the window, okay? And we'll build up on top of that. I'll do a couple more. So again, another one. Now I don't tend to do these in advance because I like these to be soft so that I can get them right into the position that I need. So I like leaving these soft and just doing them at the time and working out what fits where. It's a wee bit easier to do that on this kind of thing. So another one. So once you've done a full layer of that, then you add another little one on the top, in between, like that. And then work your way around until it's all done. Okay, so I think it's time for another break, which means part 4 is coming up, which means we have to stick all the other wee bits on, and I'll give you a guide as how to paint those as well. Okay, so 60-second break, and I'll see you back in a minute.
Master Program.
Hi everyone, welcome back to part 4 of this demo. I can't believe that, it's gone past so quick. Still so much to do. Never mind, we'll manage. So we've painted, we've made lots of little bits and bobs, we put our door on, we put our window on. Now it's time to get all the last little bits and details on and start thinking about how to paint it, okay? So I'll just move you back down again so you can see what we're doing. There we are. Okay, so this is the stage we're at now. You can see I just added a couple extra logs on, like I said, about building the door up and things, okay? So now that you've done that, you want to add a couple of straps across the door so it looks like it's held by hinges. And to do that, all we need is, I'll just move these over a bit, there we are. Roll a little sausage. And a little bit of water all the way across. I hope that's straight, I can't see. And just from right around the edge, tuck across and press on. Oh, there we are. And that squint I can see. A bit. There we are. Okay, and then we need another one. What have I done with my paste? There we are. Another one just below it. So another little bit of glue or water. And just press that on again. There we are. And then I'm just going to take, well, it's this sharp tool of Etty's, Cake Duchess tools again, but maybe a cocktail stick or something like that. And I'm just going to press in some studs all the way along. And that also helps reinforce it onto the cake. There we are. Okay, so that's your little studs on your door, your straps on the door. If you want to add a little doorknob, let's do doorknob this time. I did a little ring there, a little gold ring, that was quite cute. You could always do that. We'll just add a very simple little round knob this time. Put that over here somewhere. Just press that on. There we go, cute. Now they can get in. Okay, so that's your door. Now the steps. We have the steps here. And as you can see on this one, they go up to the door. So what I'm going to do is the biggest one I'm just going to set down at the bottom. So there is an edge that we didn't have any lines on. That's the one that goes against the tree. So I just need to turn this around a second so I can work this out. I think we'll come up this side this time. So 1, 2, 3. Yeah. So what I tend to do is put the one at the door on first, and then I can work out the spacing from there. So I'm going to trim a bit off the back of the one for the door, and then I'm just going to use a little cocktail stick that's been broken in half. I'm going to pop that in the middle there, just to give it a little bit of support because it's quite heavy. A little bit of water on the back of the step, or glue, edible glue, whichever you're using, and pop that in there. So there's one step, and then I put the last step down wherever we want it to go. So let's see if that's the front of the cake. Yeah, something like that. And then the last one goes in the middle. So I'll trim a bit off the back again, same as the last one, and then halfway up, pop the cocktail stick in. A little bit of water on the back of the step, and then we pop that on there so it's up against the tree. Okay, so there you've got your nice little steps going up now. Oh, that's looking cute. Okay. So now that we've done that, we can start adding some of the other pieces. So I made a big log, just like the branches, but I made a bigger version. Just a little bit of water on that, and we'll lie it down here. I was saying earlier, I quite like doing this because it looks like someone's maybe been sitting out there for the day or having a little campfire maybe, or, you know, use your imagination, something like that. What else do we need? We have got some acorns. So I'm going to pop one up on the top maybe. Maybe it's rolled down there. Let's give it a chum. Another one there maybe. This is the fun bit, you just get to throw everything in wherever you think it should go. So I've got a little acorn cap, which I'm going to put on here, like a little chimney cap. I'm going to tilt it forward so it looks nice when you're looking at the front of the cake. Yeah, there you are. Okay. What else do we have? We have got, oh yes, now I'll show you how to do the, which side am I doing it at? Let's think, I'll do it this side. I'll do it around here. I'm going to show you how to do the little fungi. Yep, stepping up, I think it's over here, is it? Yeah. So I'm just going to trim a little bit off the back of what you can see. Yeah, trim a little bit off the back, just like we did with the steps really, just so there's a surface to attach it with. A little bit of water. And it's a little bit fiddly. I'll try and do this so you can see, but I'm holding it by the frilled edge, pressing it against the tree with the edge I want it to stick with, and then underneath, I'll lift my finger in a minute, and just pressing it in. And then you can gently bring it down. And if you just leave that to dry, it'll be pretty solid and secure, okay? So you can do lots of those, like little steps all the way. So I'll do another one. So just, again, try and be as random as you can. I know it's not easy. I'm not good at random. But I start off trying to be random and then end up being even. Why is that? Does anyone else do that? It is really annoying. I wish I could not do that, but... Okay, so just press another one in there, okay? And flatten them out. So just stagger them around, just like on this one. You can see it there. I took this one all the way around the back, yeah? There's another little window at the back. Okay, so just stagger it up like a nice little shape all the way up, like almost like little steps again, okay? So that's how to attach those. I had some ivy leaves. Now I made the ivy leaves just with a little cutter, nothing fancy. I do have a little veiner though, which I prefer to use as well, so a little ivy veiner. So I just made some ivy leaves. I'm not going to make any stalks or anything, believe it or not, because actually it's just a little impression. I don't need to do the full-on botanical plant. I just want to give a little impression of there being some ivy. So maybe coming across. So we'll pop a little bit on there if I can get it to stick onto it and not my finger. So a little bit in here, and I'm just pressing in the middle to attach it. There we are. Do another little bit further up. And again, just pressing at the end, at the start of it there, just, and it lifts the leaves as well, which is quite nice. Yeah. So you can just work a little ivy strand, whatever you like, all over the cake if you like. You can do as much or as little as you like. This is your bit to play around and have fun and add what you like, okay? So that's those. Checking I've done everything. The other thing I can show you, oh yes, mushrooms. If you want to make some mushrooms, it's a bit like the acorns. It's just a little dome this time. They'll make a little teardrop shape with a hole underneath. And then a little teardrop shape for your stalk, okay? A little bit of glue in the cap bit, or water. Pop in the stalk. And then just prop it up against where you want it to go. So I usually put a little bit of water on the bottom and a little bit of water on the surface. It's going to be against the tree. We can maybe put it around here, can we? See if I can do this without seeing it. So something like that. Yes, there we go. So put them in little bunches. They look cute when they're in bunches. If I turn this around, you can see here. So there's 3 there together. They look quite nice together, you know, and there's a couple at the back. So yeah, just bunch them together in little groups. That always looks quite nice. So here as well, I'm just going to add maybe another branch or 2, just to build up the scene a wee bit. Let's sit, there we go. Turn that back round. Okay, so you're just building it all up, adding all the fun stuff. I thought feathers might be nice to add as well. So there's some feathers, you can dry them in nice shapes so that they can drape or whatever you want to do. I had some other curving the other way. Yeah, got a little one there. It's quite cute, you know. So anything like that you can add. For the feathers I have a little mould. I have no idea where I got that from. I'll try and find out. I've had it for quite a while, but that's a little feather mould, so that's really handy. Again, you can put some pebbles in if you want. You can just chuck them down at the bottom, in at the base if you want. There's loads. Oh, and one more really cool thing is moss. Now, I make biscuit moss. So I squish up or crush up some biscuits. These are like digestives or something like that. And I mix a little bit of dust in with them. So I've got a light green and I've got a dark green. And then I just take a little teaspoon and take some out. And I just kind of shuffle them in where I want to go. So usually what I'll do is once I've painted the grass, I'll then put that on because then it sticks to the paint that you've already got. Yeah. So like in here. And I put some up the steps, all the way around the base. You can put a little bit on the top if you really want. You know, you can put it anywhere you like. So, painting. I've got a couple of minutes to talk about painting. I'm going to use dusts again. Just the same as before, nothing different. This time, will we give it a red door this time? I think we'll go with red. Let's give it a good old red door. So we've got some vodka. And I've got the wrong brush, so I'll just pick the right one up. I'm going to use a flat brush like this. So I'm getting some vodka, some red, and I'm actually going to go for it with quite a dark. Let's see how dark this is. Oh, yes, nice. Lovely. Okay. Don't worry about, you can see I'm being quite messy, but don't worry about that, because when you use the vodka again with all your other colours to paint the other parts, it all just lifts off and blends together. This was a right mess until I got it all sorted out with the vodka and the other colours, but it all just blends in, and then it gives it a lot more depth. Rather than flat colour, it just adds out. So don't worry too much about getting paint where it's not supposed to be, because it does just lift off with vodka really easily, okay? And you can use your kitchen roll trick again if you want, you know, just lift some off with the kitchen roll. So we'll paint in this door. And then I'll do what I was doing for this, but I'm just going to lift off some of the colour. Let me turn it around and see if you get better. Ah, that's better. There, so you can see how it's picked up all the texture, which is lovely. That's what you want. Where's my brush? Here we are. So I'm going to add a little bit of a kind of a peacock blue to the red. I'm going to make it like a deeper red, like a purple red. This will be quite stark, but yeah. And I'm going to do the edges with that darker, just to give it, again, a bit of shadow. Yeah. And you just blend it in, just like I'm doing there, okay? But again, if you didn't want to do all this painting malarkey, it's too much hassle, just use coloured sugar paste. You really don't have to worry about using the paint if you really don't want to. It can be a lovely bright cheery cake just by using coloured sugar paste, yeah? So I better paint some of the other things so you can see. So the ivy, I take a light green. Where's my ivy? Around here? Yeah. I take a light green and just from the centre paint a little bit out. And then I let the vodka wash the rest out. I don't fill the whole leaf, I just use a little bit of vodka just to get a lighter edge to the leaf. Again, it's better to let it dry before you do this, but I'm just doing it for the demo. That's a bit more in there. And then I'll take a darker tone, a little bit thicker this time, and I'll maybe paint in the centre and maybe just a little part of the leaf. So it's not all the same, just a little bit, just to give it a little bit of depth, okay? So it's just thinking about varying up your tones. Even if you can just use a dark tone and a light tone together, so like a dark red and a light red, it makes a huge difference in just one flat colour, okay? Now the stones, I'm going to use a black for those and lots of vodka again. I'm going to put a wash over, a bit more black. It looks like I'm just painting them black completely, but I'm not, because I'm going to lift some off again, okay? So just get it into all those wee crevices that we had from that wee technique I showed you. It's one of my favourite techniques of making stones, isn't it great? Super fast. And then I'm just taking vodka and I'm wiping some off again. And I'll take my kitchen roll and I'll lift some off. So hopefully you can see that. Yeah. So you see how it's gone into all the dark parts. It's really cool. So you can add maybe a little tone of brown to that. So it's not just black. Nothing in nature is terribly black. It usually is a brown black or a blue black or something. So you can add a little brown to that. Step. Just a few little splodges. And then just with vodka, as before, just blend it all. Okay, not so that it becomes a flat tone again. Try and keep it sort of patchy, I suppose, which sounds crazy, but that's actually what you're trying to do. So you paint up all the branches just like we did with the tree. There's no difference there. You can paint these gold, you can paint these black, you can paint them whatever you like, really, okay? And that's pretty much it. The grass, I just went round with my light green and lots of vodka, just like this. Dab, dab, dab. A little bit more vodka, a little bit more green. And again, it does the same, it picks up all the detail. And then a little bit of a darker green on some areas. And I just work my way around like that. But this is one of my favourite things to do, is just sit and paint in all these wee details. So just take your time, do all the little hints and tips that I've given you, and eventually you will be able to make it look like this. Okay? So just add as much or as little as you like. You can probably think of other wee details that you can do. Other things you can add. You might want to add fairies. There's all sorts you can do with this cake. Loads. So have a good think what you can do. And if you give it a go, let me see. Send me pictures, okay? And if you have any questions, remember, just pop them in the comments and I'll keep coming back and making sure I try and answer them all for you, okay? So I really hope you've enjoyed this demo. I've enjoyed it, as always. Love doing this. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you join me for some more tutorials later on. All right? Thanks, guys. See you later. Bye.